Hey guys, it's Lisa from Arcane and Stellar, and today we've got a pick a card reading again. If you notice, this is a different setup. I've just put the camera in a little bit of a different angle, and I just wanted to try this out to see what it's like, if it's comfortable. Let me know what you guys think of it. If you think it's awkward or you don't like it, you prefer the other way, just tell me in the comments below. And guys, I want to really say thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for subscribing, for liking, for commenting. We hit 1K, yay! So I'm so excited about that. And I can't make community posts yet. Apparently that takes time to kick in. So anyways, we'll find out hopefully pretty soon when that's going to happen. And as soon as it does, I'll be spamming you guys. So the question today is this is actually a request my cousin made to me. She's like, well, a suggestion that she made for a video, and I misread it, and I had done a reading before about what do they think of you, or what is their impression of you type of video. And then this is going to be like in general, like how do people see you, what do people think of you, what's their impression of you, so kind of those questions combined. And so we have piles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can go ahead and pause the video at this point and make your pick. And I'll see you guys in your reading. Take care. Hello to those of you that have chosen pile number 1. So this is your reading. So what kind of impression do you make on people? What do they think of you? So we've got the tarot, as always, the Madame Endor's fortune cards, because I love this deck. And then we're going to use the playing card oracles by Anna Cortez. And I'm still learning this deck in particular. It's very in-depth, this system that Anna Cortez's father made. And she also is like, helping spread it. And it's just there's a lot to it. I've been using tarot now, I guess, well, off and on. I got my first deck when I was 17 years old. That was 17 years ago already. That's how old I am, guys. Oh. And so I've done, to me the tarot is very, easy, but this is like a totally kind of different system, and so it's just a lot to learn. But it does work intuitively as well. So, and then we have, of course, the Madame Endor's fortune telling cards, of course, because I use them in like every stinking reading that I do. I love them. And so, okay, what kind of impression do you make on people? So let's start with the Justice card. People see you as like a very fair and balanced person. You do tend to make judgments on, but it's the type of judgments that aren't vindictive or, rooted in revenge or jealousy or that type of stuff. Your judgments are sound, and you like to see things balanced. You want to see people succeed in all aspects of life, whether they're the underdog or the successful person. Although I do feel that some of you could be very into social justice, and you could even be very passionate about this, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more as we go on. But with the Five of Wands, some people can see you as very competitive, that you are full of enthusiasm. You may take part in like physical sports or physical activity of some kind, but that doesn't have to be the case. It could be just that you have a way of moving that makes you feel very active and full of life. You have the World, so you could be very well traveled. And with the World and Justice, I would say that you most likely are highly educated. Whether you did traditional schooling, although with Justice and the World, I would think that you did. Maybe not with the World, but with Justice, that does like indicate maybe traditional schooling. Like for instance, going to university, having an education, like a higher education. But nevertheless, like others see you as very intelligent and worldly. Like you know a lot about world events or about different things that are outside of your everyday culture. for like, you know, for instance, you could be into, you know, if you're like a white girl from the Midwest of America, you might like anime or something. Do you know what I mean? Like they just see you as liking things of the world, like different things. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that you give that impression of being a bit cultured or, you know, open-minded and fair and balanced. So as well, okay, this is why I think that some of you could be really into social justice of some kind, or worried about, you know, the justice of the world, like injustices going on in the world, is because we have the shield. So it says you're safe from harm, and I feel like that many people see you as a shield in there, you know, towards people that need help. That you want to shield people and keep them from harm. That you shield your friends or them from harm as well. You're always willing to put yourself out there as a shield to try to, like, you know, stand up for others. And you have a lot of passion. So some people do see you as seductive, by the way. They might see you as very, like, for, you know, somebody who has a lot of passion and has a, you know, potential for, you know, a lot of romance. I wouldn't say that they necessarily see you as a romantic, though, not with the tarot. So, getting over here into this, oh, this camera stand is in my way. Okay, there we go. So, we've got the Two of Spades, which is the, I think the enemy's card. And then the Six of Clubs, the bridge, which is the bridge. And then the Seven of Hearts, which is the sword of healing. And so let's talk about this first. So we have, the enemies. It talks about like an opposition. It talks about conflict, wars and disputes. And the lesson of this card really is about, you know, harmony and cooperation and understanding. And I don't think, what I find interesting is that, okay, alone, if you had that card alone, it could maybe mean that you're a bit argumentative. And perhaps that could be the case sometimes when you're really passionate about something. You could be a bit argumentative, but I don't think so because of this justice. What I see is that it's like as if two people are arguing, and then we have this middle card, which is a bridge. And the bridge is a gap. It's what joins two sides. And it joins these two cards in the Sword of Healing. So I do feel as if, like, you guys are able to, you want to bridge the gap between, like, the bickering and healing situations. So it's like almost as if, like, some of you could be like almost like sometimes like maybe a psychologist or somebody who wants to heal people in that way. Not physically, but like emotionally, mentally. That you want to stop arguments and heal. Because the Sword of Healing is about forgiveness, the power of love, the power of healing. And that's really what this card is about. And so it's like there's a bridge between these two things. So like I said, I do feel like that many of you are perhaps into social justice, as I said, or like standing up for the underdog, defending those, you know, like things that are really big issues in the world where people are fighting about it. You want to bring healing to these situations. You want to bring understanding and forgiveness and kindness to these, you know, try to open people's eyes to it to bring more balance. So I think other people see you as that you're a mediator of some kind that wants to help people, like, you know, stop arguing in general as well. Like even in group settings, you know, maybe where your friends are fighting with each other. Say you have two friends that are fighting. You'll be the type that will be like, hey, you know, let's not do this. Let's bring forgiveness to the situation. Let's bring love to the situation. Let's figure out how to, you know, be a shield for these type of situations. And yeah, you definitely have a lot of intelligence when it comes to working with, you know, different people, different types of people. So that's what I'm seeing for you, pile number one. If that resonates with you, let me know. I think it was pretty specific, so you know, but I just, if you're not really into like, you know, current events, it could just be, you know, in your everyday mundane life that you like harmony, and you don't want, you want to be that bridge. And for some of you, like, this is a general, right, of what the other people like in the world think of you, you know, the people that know you in your life. It's not about a specific person. But I do feel like that specific people might also see you as that. Like, for instance, if you've had strife in your family, you know, arguments in your friends, you know, your friendships, your family, you're the type of person that tries to bridge the gap and bring healing to situations like that. But yes, that's what I've got for you, pile number one. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so if you've chosen pile number two, this is your reading. So, what do other people think of you? What impression do you give others? So, we've got the tarot here, which is the Green Witch Tarot. Then we have the Playing Card Oracle by Ana Cortez, and the Madame Endor's Fortune cards. So let's start with the Seven of Wands. You are somebody who overcomes challenges, and you can be, you know, the type of person who beats the odds and really has, you know, a type of self-confidence. I get that as well with the Battle Wagon. It's about moving forward and leadership. And Marduk here, the Heartless, that's, sounds so terrible, the Heartless, right? And he kind of looks scary. But that's about, the Marduk is a bit of a loner at times. So I do see that maybe sometimes you can be a bit of a loner, or a bit, maybe at least just more independent, a very independent type of person. Others may see you as that person who's can be quite independent. And some may even take you as being a bit competitive, and that's why you stay away from them. But that's going to be not everybody that sees you. It's just a possibility. But there's definitely a leadership quality to you because of this Marduk. He's the leader, and but as well, so is the Battle Wagon. That's like the chariot. The chariot is all about you know, taking the lead, taking control, dominating, and going forward and moving forward, about getting victory, and, you know, all of that stuff, you know, having self-esteem, you know, the self-esteem to move forward, and the self-confidence. Then we have Gawain, and Gawain is the Nine of Diamonds, and, you know, he's a very protective type of person, which, I mean, I think we look, you know, for protection from leaders. So I do feel that you give this quality of being a protector of sorts. You know, people can look to you to be there for them. And we have that world tree, so definitely, it's the last, actually the first pile had the world. And I think that maybe even, no, I don't know if the other piles, I think one of the other piles might have it as well. It's very interesting. So definitely a very intelligent person. But back to Gawain here. You know, he is, yeah, a protector. And by the way, these are fire signs, so perhaps there's some earth. But, so you could be a fire sign. But Gawain has the Nine of Diamonds here in this case is a very, somebody who is very enthusiastic and has a lot of energy. But the energy can come and go. So it can, like, kind of build up and then wane. So some people could see you as sometimes as a hot and cold person. You might come in really hot and then kind of, like, back off. And that kind of goes also with Marduk, about being kind of a loner. And Marduk also is somebody who could be, like, a wanderer of some kind. Somebody who doesn't exactly have a home base. With the world tree here, too, it's almost like some of you could be, you know, not living in your country of birth or your area of birth. You might have been some, so it might be somebody who's from a different area. And so many people might see you as somebody who is in that type of position where, you're a wanderer or of some kind. With the Two of Diamonds here, this is about rivalry. So you see the woman and the man. It's the sun and the moon. It's that duality, that opposition. And rivalry can cause a lot of things. It can cause us to strive for our best. And so people may see you as somebody who strives for the best, that you're easily engaged into trying to take, the lead in something and, giving it your all. So yeah, but this chair, the battle wagon and this card here, it's just definitely, and if you're like, no, that's not true. That's how people see you. That's how they take you. Sometimes we don't always know what vibe we give off to other people. It's because, like, I'm very quiet sometimes, and a lot of people get to know me, and they'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that, or I didn't expect that about you, or just because we always get, oftentimes the impression that we give other people isn't exactly accurate with what we, how we actually are deep down, or amongst our closest friends. So as well, we have the Maiden and the Stars. So again, a long journey brings rewards. I do feel like that many of you are seen as somebody who's from another area by most of the people around you. Like, the people around you see you as like a foreigner to their area. So, like, I'm not saying a foreigner as in you're from a different country, although that could be the case, but you're somehow not from around there type of thing, if you get what I'm saying. But as well, that with Marduk here, he has that staying power to really make something of himself, that ruthlessness. And so it's like you have the ability to really, but then again, with Gawain here, it can be hot and cold. So it could be that some people see, it could be that people see you as having that ability to stick to things. But perhaps in the personal life, it feels like here today, gone tomorrow. So with that here today, gone tomorrow type of thing, it can just be that, like, you might be the type of person that cancels plans. Like, maybe you're like, oh yeah, let's do something, and then you back out. But anyways, back to this. Sorry, that was like a total side note. With this long journey brings rewards, it's just that I feel like many people see you as somebody who, they think of you as somebody who could, put a lot of effort into something, and they see that you're putting a lot of effort into something. And, you'll eventually see rewards, that you play a long game when it comes to the things you want in your life. You can, maybe be good at saving for things, or, putting up with things in order to get what you want eventually. With the Maiden here, so it says a new relationship blossoms. Some people might see you as, somebody who's, in a new relationship. But I think with just the Maiden in general, that she's very beautiful and, delicate. So you might have that appearance to you, a friendly, beautiful appearance, calming, peaceful type of appearance. Sorry about that. I got cut off by my camera. It's very nice to be in this position, though, because I have a DSLR and it does not have the camera, it doesn't have a screen that turns around. So I cannot see kind of what's going on when I'm in the other position at all. So I just kind of have to guess. And this way I can actually kind of look behind and see what the view looks like from here, and, how many minutes I have left to record. Because that's that is the one downfall about having a DSLR. If you're going to buy one, and you plan to record videos with it, be sure to check out how many minutes are allowed to be recorded at a time, because there's a time limit usually on these cameras. And that's very frustrating, because 10 minutes actually goes by a lot quicker than you'd think. But anyways, so I'm just going to finish this up. As I said, I definitely think that people see you as somebody who, overcomes challenges in their life, is, wants to do things, you know, you have a certain way of doing things methodically. You know, you could be the person who, you know, makes a list of what they want and then makes it happen. If you get what I mean, to get the desired results. Some, like I said, might see you as a traveler of some kind here. Somebody that's not afraid to work towards what they want, to go the distance to get what they want. And again, another like kind of traveler card, but it could also be that sometimes people see you as hot and cold. Some people might see you as somebody who cancels plans a lot. I know that's not a very nice thing to hear. You know, I'm guilty of that. That's me. So I do that all the time. But yeah, and maybe a bit of a competitive person. You know, this is a card of being a rivalry. But it's a, you know, it can be used for good. I mean, all of these things can be used in a good way, in a positive way. For instance, with this, you know, rivalry can help us, you know, get the best, do the best that we can do. And again, with this Chariot card, it's Chariot. I just said that again. Jesus Louise. You know, it's about somebody who charges forward in something that, you know, has the self-confidence and leadership ability and, you know, self-control to get things done. Oh, and by the way, I want to say, by the way, about this Gawain card. Gawain. You know, people look at you as a knight of shining armor of sorts, you know. He is somebody who is very helpful. He's a protector of sorts. But he, you know, can also be an adventure seeker, so, you know, that's another thing. You could be very adventurous. But yeah, as I said, this can be kind of like, well, you know, diamonds in this particular deck are fire signs. And so I'm like all fire, practically. I only have a little bit of water in my chart and a little bit of earth. I have Mars. I have a Taurus Mars. And then I have, well, I guess Pluto and Scorpio. And I have my IC in Scorpio. And my IC has Pluto conjunct my IC. So I do feel that Scorpio stuff pretty heavily, because I have that. And then, but yeah, anyways, I'm mostly fire though. I have an Aries Sun, an Aries Moon, an Aries Venus, and an Aries Mercury, and I have Leo rising. So, gosh, I know all about hot and cold, and, you know. So somebody could see like that sometimes, you know. But if you don't, you know, feel like that, well, maybe that's not meant for you. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, so those of you that have chosen pile number 3, this is your reading. Sorry, my chair is a little bit squeaky. Let me just readjust myself. Okay. So, you've got... So, first of all, I want to say this reading is about what other people think about you, the impression that you give, so that's what we're going to be looking at, as, you know, we've already covered that in the beginning, but just to recap. So, I've got the tarot here, and then I've got the playing card oracle deck by Ana Cortez, and then the Madame Ador's fortune telling cards. So, let's see here. We've got the 8 of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, the World, the 13 of Hearts, so it's Good King Nehemiah, and then the 7 of Diamonds, and then the Ace of Diamonds. So, and that's Ignita, and the Sword of Truth. So, let's see here. How do other people see you? So, with the 8 of Wands, they probably see you as very communicative, somebody who is passionate, and, you know, really goes after what they want, hurls towards what they want pretty quickly. I see that a lot with this Ignita card as well, the Ace of Diamonds here. It's about, you know, the willpower to do things. They see you as somebody very willful that has the, you know, wants to achieve things. And I see that in the 8 of Wands as well. You could be a quick speaker, somebody who talks quite fast. But not necessarily, because we do have the Queen of Pentacles. And I think Pentacles tend to be a bit slower. But the Queen of Pentacles is an amazing card. It's about, you know, somebody who is very loving and caring, somebody that, you know, loves animals, that loves the earth, that loves, you know, nature, but loves also, you know, material. It's all about the material, the tangible things that you have in your life. So, and it's about somebody who, for instance, if you have a family, you know, somebody who can run the home and work at the same time, that can balance everything, that, you know, has that potential to balance everything. But, you know, even if you don't have a family, you know, it could be also taking care of your pets, you know, if you just have a pet. And then the world. Again, it's a world. I've had that, you know, we've got that in the first pile, the second pile, and now this pile. Like, really, it's interesting that it came out so many times. So people see you as very, and I feel like I'm repeating myself because the other pile's got the same thing. But, you know, somebody who's very worldly, experienced, intelligent about different places. As I mentioned in another pile, it could be that, you know a lot of different information about the world. For instance, I said this in the other pile, but like, you know, you could have an interest in other cultures or a knowledge about other cultures. I think I gave an example of, like, you know, being a Midwest girl who likes anime or something, you know, just as a random example. But I mean, it doesn't have to be that, but you could just have a lot, you know, very open to different cultures and learning about them. It also is a sense of completion, so you could be, you know, educated very well. But if you're not, you know, if you don't have a higher education, it could just be that, yeah, you have a lot of worldly education that, you know, you've experienced. You could be a bit of a traveler, and people may see you as that, as somebody who's traveled a lot, who's seen a lot in their life, or has, you know, at least that desire to. That also could be if, you know, you haven't traveled, but, you know, say it's still, you know, something that you're planning on doing. They see you as that person that has a lot of goals that they want to go towards, a lot of worldly ideas that they want to accomplish. But there's a certain stability here. It's not just all off the wall. There's a, you know, a very stable, loving energy to you. So over here, like I said, with the 13 of Hearts here, with the good king, he's, you know, a very big-hearted person, someone who's generous and sentimental. And you may be very musical, you see. Enjoy to, you know, eating and drinking, like going out and enjoying yourself. You might be one of those people that's just a sucker for, like, you know, like in my own case, like I spend like a lot of my extra money on food. Like, I love food. I love to eat. So you could be one of those people that just really likes to enjoy yourself in those type of ways. And people see you as that person that likes to go out and have a good time with music and drink and food. With the 7 of Diamonds, it's seven of Diamonds is the sword of truth. So, you know, here the words are courage and conviction, trust, prudence, perception, and illumination. And, you know, that's what truth is all about. The truth illuminates, but it takes a certain prudence, you know. You have to be careful of the truth, you know, because it can illuminate a lot of things, and sometimes you have to know when to use it and when not to use it. So I think that some people could see you as somebody who has these qualities or needs to use these qualities, depending on you know, on what, you know, your situation is. But nevertheless, I mean, it takes a lot of courage to speak up and tell the truth, you know, and you might have some convictions that you, when you feel a conviction in your heart and you're like, I have to speak up, and, you know, you'll have that courage to speak the truth in those type of situations. And this could happen with your friendships here. We have the Golem. So it says a close friend acts on your behalf. And so you may be that type of person that's not afraid to speak the truth when standing up for your friends and, you know, taking care of them in that way. Then we have the winds of change. So it says your surroundings will undergo transition. So I do feel that some of you are seen as being like a traveler, as somebody who changes and evolves, like the world. It's, you know, always evolving. Things are always changing. And so I do see that ability to change, that people see that ability in you to change. And that's also like about the Ace of Diamonds is also about, changing and that potential for, growth and achievement. But yeah, that's what I see for you, pile number 3. If that resonates with you, let me know in the comments below. And that's just really what I see that people think of you right now, at least. The people in your life around you. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, please subscribe, like my video, leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, so if you've chosen pile number 4, this is your reading. So this is going to answer what the people in your life think about you, how they see you, like what's their impression of you. The general, impression that you give to people that you know. So we've got the tarot up here, as you can tell, and then we have the Madame Endor's fortune cards over here, and then the playing card oracle by Ana Cortez. Yeah, so there's definitely a theme here that I see right away with moving on and being, having some burdens in your life. I definitely see that you have had some, problems that you've really moved away from in your life, and people have recognized that in you. So we have that Six of Swords, which is talking about, getting out of these rough waters into calmer waters, moving on and getting into a better place, which you have. And, people see that. They see you as joyful, as stable. Like I always think of the 4s as stability, because the 4s bring stability. And there's definitely a certain sense of stability that you've created, and you've created that with this magician. You're a magician. You are able to take all of the elements, and make something from them, to conjure up what you deserve, desire, and what you deserve too. I don't think that was not a misspeak. It was meant to be said. The Sun, your perseverance is rewarded. So it's like, you know how to persevere to get what you want, to get where you want to be, despite many problems that you've had in your life. And see, we have the Home here, so I do feel like there's something very important to you that others see in you about your home. Perhaps some of you have dreamt about having a home, and you were able to accomplish this goal against all odds. That's just something I'm picking up here, but so we have the Ruins, the Grave, and the House of Good Fortune. These are two kind of on the negative side, right? The Ruins talk about, well, we have some ruins here, and it talks about a past, that provides lessons for the future. But it's about a past, is in ruins, something that you've had to leave behind, but for good reason. It taught you something about how you are now, and people recognize that. You may even, try to help people, now to achieve what they want based off of your own history. You might be the person that can give advice because you've been through a lot. We have the Grave here, the 3 of Spades. And, it's about the past that didn't serve you and needs to be put in the ground. Burdens that are carried and need to be put away. And we have burdens over here. So I do feel that some of you could be seen as having burdens currently in your life, a lot of burdens. And perhaps people feel like it maybe isn't very fair to you, some of the burdens that you're going through. But they know that these burdens are something that will bring you good things, good stability. That this is a House of Good Fortune, so the 8 of Diamonds, and it's about, having success and prosperity and good fortune in your life. Those are the, the kind of keywords that go along with that card. And then we have exactly rejuvenation and fulfillment. And where do you go but home? The House of Good Fortune. Where else do you go except for home to rejuvenate? Yourself. And there's a sense that you've been able to rejuvenate yourself after going through a lot of difficulties previously. And people recognize that in you. They see that aspect of you, that healing ability that you have, that perseverance that you have to come out on top, to keep fighting for what you want to believe, you know, for what you believe in, for what kind of life you want, and turning your back on life, parts of your life that didn't serve you in the past. So some of you could have, you know, gone through something like, you know, a major upheaval in your life. For instance, maybe cutting off your family, or cutting out of people out of your life that didn't help you out or serve you in very good ways, or getting out of relationships that didn't serve you, you know, but some major struggles, honestly, like that you've been through, the type of stuff you could probably write a book about. You know what I'm saying? And but there's definitely a mastery to you, an ability to really achieve what you want. And it, you know, I think that's how people see you, as that ability to create that happiness and stability and prosperity through perseverance and a really hard work with that Ten of Wands. And yeah, and burying the past, letting it go, letting it be ruins, and realizing that, you know, there's no use in upkeeping this stuff. There's no use in it. Just let it go, you know? So you might have that ability that people see in you to let things go and move forward in your life. But that's what I see for you, pile number 4. If that resonates with you, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Okay, so for those of you that picked pile number 5 over here, so this is your reading. So this is how people see you, what impression you make on others as a whole, about the people around you and how they view you. So you've got the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Chalices, and the High Priestess for your tarot cards. And then I have the Playing Card Oracle here by Ana Cortez. And you've got La Air, the Garden, and the Tower, the Spider, and the Key with the Madame Dora's fortune cards right here. So with the Queen of Wands, oh, wait, first one thing I want to say here is I do see that many of you are probably a water sign or a fire sign or a combination, because we have like literally only those, pretty much almost. So yeah, with the Queen of Wands, you're somebody who's very passionate and enthusiastic, optimistic. You know, you have a lot of, you do things with a lot of passion, with a lot of optimism. You're creative. People see you as creative and, you know, happy. With the Queen of Cups, it's a very similar type of thing, very artistic as well. Could be very artistic, very loving and kind. Somebody who's sympathetic, and somebody who's, you know, somebody that's good, a good confidant of sorts. There's a fairness, you know, that comes with the Queen of Cups. She wants things to be fair and just, and so people see you that way. We have the Spider here, so be meticulous and patient. So I do feel like as if you're a meticulous and patient person, or at least somebody who puts a lot of effort into the things that they want, and, you know, can, you know, with the patience, though, you know, that's going to be, some people might see that you need to have more patience. That might be something, you know, it's not necessarily that you actually have that patience, but that you might need to be more patient, meticulous in your life, especially if you're a fire sign. We have the High Priestess, and this is very interesting. So the High Priestess is somebody who's very, you know, spiritual. And oh, by the way, and I wanted to say about the Queen of Cups, and this goes along with the High Priestess, is that you may have psychic abilities, or have, you know, those really intuitive abilities. Is this visible in the camera? Hold on, sorry. Yeah. We have, you know, that water, so it's emotion. And there's the moon with emotion. And so it's all about somebody who really seems to be very intuitive and psychic. So people could also see you as a bit of a, you know, a witch of sorts. Not necessarily, but it's possible that you somehow cast things, or, you know, like have some kind of power, some allure with this High Priestess. But yeah, definitely I see some, they see you as someone very spiritual and having some sort of ability to guide in that way, if that could be said. But as well, also, I want to say is that the High Priestess can be quite secretive. And that's interesting because we have L'Air. Now, L'Air isn't exactly the most positive card. L'Air can be kind of a bit of a sly trickster at times. But, in this case, it could be somebody who's very secretive. And so people may see you as being a bit secretive. Someone that hides things, that you might be a little bit closed off in some ways, and you kind of keep some of your ideas to yourself, some of your plans to yourself. And some people like that and some people don't like that. But and as well, by the way, with this Six of Diamonds here at the Tower, that's also, can talk about being a bit isolated, and as well the High Priestess is sometimes a bit isolated as well, so sometimes you might be a bit of a loner in some way. But it also talks about, the Tower can also talk about having a high vantage point, a higher vision, like the more vision, because it's up, so they can see more. And so and it also means that people look up to you in some way as well. So, that could also be something, like sometimes some people kind of keep to themselves, and so people kind of come up with their own idea about who that person is. And that could be very much kind of the vibe that you give off, that you sort of leave this impression of people where they kind of make up their own decision about you, who they think you are, sort of, based on what their own, experiences are kind of in life, if you get what I mean by that. And then we have the Eight of Hearts. And the Eight of Hearts is, the Eight of Hearts, it's about, it's the garden, and it's about, being beautiful and charming. And by the way, L'Air is a lover card as well. So you could be somebody who kind of is a heartbreaker. You might be seen as somebody who's a bit of a heartbreaker that charms people and then sort of maybe dumps them. Hopefully that might be true, sometimes that can happen, It may not even be something that you've done on purpose or something. It may have just happened that way. But some people might see you as that way, or have that potential to be a heartbreaker of sorts. But yeah, the garden's about beauty and charm. So definitely people see you in that way. And then, it can also be about, being very loving, supportive. And again, with the Queen of Cups here as well, that's very supportive. I think both queens are very supportive people, and both very loving. I think all queens are loving in the tarot. They're, they all represent the best energies of the suit. So, and also can talk about labors of love. You may put a lot of effort. Okay, because a garden is something that we put a lot of effort into, and a lot of people who garden really love their garden and they nurture it and they care for it. And so with this card in particular, you may have things that you really nurture and love in your life, and people see you as somebody who really does put that, nurturing love into something. That's going to be different for everybody. For some of you, you could be like a healer of some kind, or like I said, like a psychic, or you may, use like these type of, it could be family, or perhaps you like, I wouldn't say gardening, maybe through art or music and those type of endeavors, like something that you really put a lot of your heart into. But yeah, and then we have the key, so it says locked doors can now be opened. And again, I'm going to say the psychic thing again. I really feel as if you guys have strong intuition, and people recognize that you know how to, unlock the door to the other side in a way. And perhaps you guide people with that, but as well, with the locked doors now can now be opened as well. I think that, with your charm and your beauty, your allure, kind of, you know how to kind of, get people to do the things that you want them to do. They might feel like a little bit like, you know, like as if they can't say no to you in some way. So if you get what if you get what I mean by that. But anyways, that's what I'm seeing for you, pile number 5 people. And I want to thank you for watching. And if that resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, so those of you that have chosen the last pile, which is pile number 6, this is your reading. So this is like the people in your life. What do they think of you? How do they see you? You know, what impression do you make on those those that are around you in your life? So let's see here. We've got the 9 of Pentacles, the Star, and the 3 of Cups here with the Tarot, and then I have the Playing Card Oracle by Ana Cortez down here, and then the Madame Endor's Fortune cards. Let me just make sure they're all in shot. I'm going to move these up a tiny bit. Is that okay? Yes, okay. This is a much more convenient location for me to film in a way, because then I can kind of see what's on the back of the camera, because my camera does not have the flippy screen. So let's see here. So let's just start with the tarot here. So we have the 9 of Pentacles. So people see you as very abundant financially, or at least, you know, that you have a lot of good things in your life financially or materially at least. You seem pretty independent in this way, because with all the 9s, they're all alone and very, you know, which gives off that sense of independence. So you could be, you know, somebody that's, you know, makes your own money, makes your own way through life, and is very independent in that way. But definitely very joyful and fulfilled. Okay, so they see you as very fulfilled in some way. Not in some way, but in like a material way, I would say. And then the Star. So somebody who has a lot of hope and for the future. Someone is quite vulnerable, and as well with Allegra, it's a total vulnerability in some way. Trusting in what's going, you know, trusting in your dreams, in your hopes, and trusting, you know, that you'll be guided in the right way. And the 3 of Cups, you know, people see you as a good friend, as somebody that's good. It feels good to be around. Somebody that's, you know, joyful and, you know, really knows how to have a good friendship. As well, I thought it was interesting, we have the 3 of Hearts over here, which is also a water sign. Well, it's just like a water, like the 3 of Cups, so it's interesting. Although this card means a bit of a different thing. It's about 3 affections in a way. So it's called the Clutch is the name of this card, and yeah, as you can see that there are, you know, 3 layers here, and in this particular deck, like 3s can be like a ladder. It's kind of like where you're in between, you know, trying to move up. And so some people may see you as somebody who is having a balancing act of your emotions in some way. And, you know, whether they see you as doing that well or not, you know, that's going to probably depend on the person. Although I generally think that it does seem as if you do a good job in other ways, that people think of you as doing a good job, but there's definitely some sort of balancing act in your life of your affections and your, you know, heart. Perhaps you love to work, but you also, you know, love friends, you know what I mean? And you love different things, and you really just have that ability to balance it all out, or you struggle with that ability. That's probably going to depend on you, because it really can go either way, although I do think that you're able to do that based off of the, you know, the cards that I'm seeing. So with the 10 of Hearts, so this is Allegra, and Allegra is a young at heart person. You see the little heart with the compass. She doesn't care which way she's going. She's just going to follow the path. And some people may see you like that in a very lighthearted way, that you're very, you know, impulsive and daring, and you don't need a whole lot to be happy. You can just kind of, you know, pick it up and go. You can be like passionate, emotional with this Allegra card. And yeah, you see she has a blindfold on. She's like, whatever, I got my bow, I've got my bag, I've got my, what is it on there? On her hip? Something on her hip. Probably arrows. It's an arrow bag, yeah. And, you know, she's just going to follow whichever way her heart leads her. And so many people probably see you as someone who's very led by their heart. And, you know, with that star as well, it's like about, you know, led by the heart, the hopes. But definitely there's a lot of heart involved in you. And you have a lot of love for many different people in your life and things. We have the Sword of Enchantment. So this is, it talks about the power of the unseen. This particular sword is, you know, it says over here, which you probably can't see on this, I'm not sure. It says, believe in me. And it's really about the power of our thoughts and our intentions, the things that are unseen. And you can talk about the ability of this. So, you know, the power of what's inside of us. So, for instance, you know, with this sword, you could cut someone off emotionally, in a way. You could prune things from your life. You could, you know, things that are of an emotional, unseen nature in your thoughts. You could also decide to create the life that you want. And especially with the Star card, I do see people as seeing you as someone who really has that ability to control the unseen in some way. Like perhaps you're seen as a very good manifester, or somebody who's good at, like I said, pruning what's not good in your life. As well as having that, you know, that ability to put on your blindfold and just be like, I'm just going to rely on this power of the unseen in some way. So we have the King and the Dragon as well. So it's, you know, there's authority and diplomacy. I said it right this time. I always screw this word up, like every time. I don't know why. So you have a certain diplomacy to you. I see that with the Three of Cups as well. You know, they're all having a good time together. And so I feel like, you know, people see you as very, you know, amiable, like somebody who they can talk to and have a good time with. But there is that certain authority to you, right? With that Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles, she's very successful and independent. And so, you know, and there's a certain authority to being solo like that. And so successful, right? There, like, an admiration can kind of form there. But we have the Dragon, so strength and wisdom. So there's a lot of strength and wisdom that you offer to the people around you, and they see you as somebody that holds a lot of strength and wisdom. Somebody that really has control of the mind, again, like I said, with this Sword of Enchantment. Knows how to use your thoughts to make good decisions with this, you know, like to make wise decisions. So yeah, that's what I see for you, Pile number 6. That's how people see you. They see you as somebody that has a lot of strength and wisdom, a lot of authority and diplomacy, you know, success that comes from being able to be independent, always striving, perhaps even striving. You know, with some of these things, you may not be there yet, but you may be on the path. You know, you have that drive. If you're not like currently financially stable and successful on your own, you're like, no, that's not quite me yet. You're on the path to it, and people see that. They see that you have a lot of hopes and aspirations here with the Star. You have a lot of wishes that you want to fulfill, and you have that power in your mind to do that, to make things happen. You know how to go after the things that you want with a certain abandon, you know, with feeling young at heart and letting, you know, your intuition, your inner guidance, that inner power that you have, that unseen power that you have, guide you. And, you know, you may struggle at times with balancing your affections. Some of you could have, like when I say those 3 affections, there are 3 things in your life that would, you know, need balancing, things that you care about a lot, and maybe they are not so easy to balance always. you know, it could be, like I said, children, work, and, you know, a spouse, for instance, or and so on and so forth. Or it could be different things, you know, maybe different hobbies that you have, different passions. But, you know, that can be a bit of a struggle, and some people may see you as struggling with that, or they may see that you're very balanced with that, depending on, you know. But I do think that you have that power, you know, with that sort of enchantment. And then the Three of Cups. Oh, it cut me off when I was saying that. So, but anyways, but with that Three of Cups, I just wanted to say that people do see you as someone who's very open and friendly, and a good person to just hang out and have a good time with. So, yeah, anyways, but that's what I see for you, pile number 6. If that resonates with you, let me know in the comments below. Let me know which pile you chose, you know, that you chose number 6, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next reading, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Oops, sorry, I kicked the camera thing. Oops. Sorry if that jerked it too much, but yeah, take care, guys.